It's Lionel catalog day. I gotta text the guys. Sid, it's Lionel catalog day. Oh boy. I must have fallen asleep working on Chris's tank engine again. God, this thing is annoying. What's going on in the train world? What do you want, Chris? Shoot, it's catalog day. Who else? RJ. It's catalog day! Who else? Jason. This is it. This is the catalog that JD Stux buys a Lionel Legacy engine. We gotta let him know.
New Lionel catalog coming out. I wonder if I'll order my first Legacy engine.
And RBP. What am I thinking? RBP. It's catalog day.
RBP Vision Line 21010-2, take 1. Welcome back. Chris from Chris's Trains and Things. Chris's Trains and Things, the other Chris. January 14th, new catalog comes out today. We're going to need to make some room on these shelves.
It's catalog day! Oh, hi there. Welcome. Well, I hope you join me today as we dive in to the Lionel catalog. Now, there's a lot of things coming out in this catalog. It's been talked about for a couple weeks. Hopefully, you didn't have any leaks that ruined it for you. We know that the Cab 3 is coming out because that was published in a magazine not too long ago. What's that going to mean for our traditional legacy systems? Are we going to see those in this catalog? Are they gone the way of the dodo bird? We'll have to wait and see. We also know the Vision Line engine is the Class A. Lionel actually announced that at York, which was kind of surprising that they announced it well ahead of the catalog. Usually that's an engine that they keep pretty tight to the chest. So there's a special feature, allegedly, coming out in that. So let's look at that today. We also know that this is a big book, and we have to do it on a MacBook, or PC, or your phone, because there's no printed catalogs right now. So we're going to be able to look at this really quickly, together, as soon as Lionel opens it up. And I'm going to get this video out to you as soon as possible. And if you're watching it, obviously I already did that. Now, what toolings, what MTH toolings are we going to see in this catalog? That's going to be exciting as well. So, a few of the faces you saw earlier in this video, Sid and RJ and Jason and RBP, I'll be working with them through this catalog later on next week. In more of a live event, where you'll get to interact with us. I'm really excited for that. Now, for this video, we're going to just kind of be perusing the catalog together. I'll give my initial thoughts. Not going to talk too much about what I'm going to order. Maybe I will. We'll see if my emotions get the best of me. But we're not going to talk about prices either. We know that there's supply shortages. Shipping costs have gone up. We're dealing with inflation. So we know that costs are going to go up. And in fact, we know from listening to the Matt podcast, when Eric Siegel was interviewed, he was talking to Lionel, and he knew at that point that prices were going up between 10 and 15%. So we knew going into this catalog that we're going to see a price increase. So let's just not focus on that. Let's just focus on what new models are we going to see are coming out in this catalog. Let's do it together, right here on Chris's Trains and Things. To say it's the most wonderful time of the year is an understatement. The Lionel catalog release is always something that's very exciting for those of us in this hobby, so I really appreciate all of you joining me for this adventure. Now, it is obviously 8 o'clock on Friday, January 14th, when this is premiering, and you might be watching this a few days down the road. But this has been up for a couple hours, and there's already lots of rumblings online, on Discord servers, and tomorrow on the Matt and Matt O-Scale podcast. So let's go ahead and jump in together and walk through this, as my friends RJ and Sid just did before this video. So we're going to just kind of move right on through here, and it'll be a quick walkthrough and some of my initial impressions. So first and foremost, we have the Cab 3 app, and the Cab 3 base. So this is something we knew was coming. This was leaked a few weeks ago from the OGR forum, and this is taking place of our legacy command base. And, you know, there's a lot of mixed feelings about this, especially with the fact that they're discontinuing the production of the legacy base. For me personally, I really like having the legacy remote to control different locomotives at one time. It makes it a lot easier. I also do a lot of filming with my phone, or, you know, messaging people with my phone, so I don't want that app out. Or I don't want to hand my app to my daughter if she's running some trains or wants to blow the whistle. So this is going to definitely make things interesting down the road if we need to eventually, you know, get rid of those legacy remotes. Now, the legacy remote does work with this base, so if you have one, you're good to go, but they're not making any more of those legacy remotes. So they're making the Cab 1L remote, as they show here in the image, but, you know, that's not quite as nice as I believe it's the Cab 2 remote that I have. And I ended up picking up an extra one from a local hobby shop just so I have one in case mine breaks. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. For me, with some young children who will have more Lion Chief and Lion Chief 2.0 engines in the future, this might be something I look at upgrading to at some point in time down the road. My suggestion for myself is going to be wait till I find a catalog with nothing big, no big ticket items that I feel like I really want to purchase, and then spend the money to pre-order this. It's going to be available for the next 15 years. I would imagine, so no need in rushing into it right now because I don't need it. All right, let's go into Steam. So we knew the Class A was coming out. This thing is awesome. It's huge. It's got the safety steam. It's got whistle steam. It's got the dual speaker system in the tender and in the locomotive, which is neat. And there's a variety of different road numbers that they're putting out for this with different prototype. There's a prototype and excursion version. There's the pre and post World War II version. You can get some excursion cars for it. This thing's really neat. It is not on my list, and they announced it. I right away had mentioned to my buddies that I was probably not going to buy it. After seeing it in the catalog this morning, and I started to think, wow, that would be really cool on the layout. And it would be, but the problem is I have no Norfolk and Western rolling stock or passenger cars, and I don't feel like acquiring them after spending the price tag that's on this. So this is going to have to be a pass, although it is a really neat locomotive, and it's going to look great on some layouts. Next, we have the Vision Line horse cars, which is a neat addition to the Vision Line. The only thing that I have an issue with on these is that these are only 2-door, and a true horse car would have 3 doors based on the prototype pictures that I've seen. These are neat. I like how they've got the gold trucks on the Pensy. It would look really great with some old Pullman cars that I don't have. But these are neat. I don't know. We'll see. They're not at the top of my list for an order, but they're neat new tooling. Then we've got some more stock cars, but if you look close enough, you'll notice that these are actually the pig cars. So if we can zoom in here, you'll see it's the Pig Palace there on the Northern Pacific. That's a really cool car. And it says it's got a quilling pig, so that's going to be pretty interesting to hear what that sounds like. So those are neat. I don't have any of the Vision Line stock cars. I don't know if I'll ever acquire them or not, but they're a neat addition. Let's move into the Steam. This has my attention right here, especially 5022. So the Legacy 210-4s. Now, I just sold my 210-4 J1A to my buddy Bernsey over the summertime. Or actually, I guess it was this fall. But I do really love this Santa Fe. There's something about that, just that all black inside rods, black drivers, the big tender, which is a simple Santa Fe numbers on it there, that just sticks out to me. I used to have 3751. I sold it and a bunch of passenger cars a long time ago. The thing I love about 5022 is this engine was on lease to the Pensy, so I can run it with my Pensy cars. It's got whistle steam now, which is going to look really cool, and so this one is at the top of my order list if things work out well. So really neat. It's 30.5 inches, so it's probably just a hair too long for my turntable, but that's okay. And it runs on 072 curve, so that's fine for my layout. Then we've got some Berkshires. When I heard Berkshires were going to be in this catalog, I panicked for a minute because I was afraid it was going to be another Polar Express and then a nickel plate road, and then I'd have to order more than one. But alas, it is not. These are the other style of Berks, and quite frankly, I find them to be a little bit uglier than the other. So I'll be passing on all of these. Now there is, I believe it's Boston and Albany, or Boston and Maine, that they do a green, a green color that K-Line used to do, and they didn't come out with that in this catalog, which is kind of surprising. So we'll see if someone pulls a custom run out to do that. Now, these do have whistle steam. Again, they've got road-specific detailing and the Legacy, all the bells and whistles, if you will, that come with Legacy. They came back with the Atlantics, which is kind of surprising because they had the Atlantics catalog not too long ago when I purchased mine. And they're great. They got whistle steam again, fan-driven smoke unit, road-specific detailing. I know someone who spoke earlier tonight was hoping to see a Southern in black. The fact that it's green, I think, was a relief for RJ. The only one that sticks out to me here would be the New York Central, because I would like to eventually acquire some New York Central motive power, steam motive power. But nope, that's not going to be on the list since I already have an Atlantic. Then the 060s. I was excited when I heard the 060s were in this catalog because of number 31. And then I looked at it and I was immediately disappointed that they have the bunker coal tender and not the actual coal tender 431. They also have the wrong Strasbourg logo on the tender. This should be the Canadian National kind of rhombus, I guess, if you will, not the egg logo for Strasbourg. So I know a couple people have already messaged to Mr. Muffin for a custom run on this. I don't know if Lionel would do a custom run and actually change the tender. That would be pretty neat if they did. Another nice feature that is on this, and I'll say it's nice, is the tether here is going to allow you to have a longer electric pickup because this engine is so short. It's only, it looks like, let's zoom in here, 17 inches long. So without the tender, it's probably only 9 or 10 inches long. So that's not a big electric pickup when you've got pickup rollers that are probably only about 3 inches apart. Any dead spot's going to stop your locomotive. So having 2 more pickup rollers on the tender with a tether is a nice add-on. No whistle steam on these, but again, it's a pretty small overall engine. But when you think about some of the technology that we have nowadays, you start to hope that Lionel will start kind of getting that whistle steam into these smaller locomotives. If they can put smoke units into HO locomotives, we should be able to figure out whistle steam in these. And then we go even smaller with an 040. And these are neat too, but these are actually just command control, which is interesting because it says Legacy here. But from my understanding, these are just like a Lion Chief 2.0 or TMCC, not actually Legacy. That's what I've heard. It says standard Legacy features, but then just says, I don't know. Who knows? We'll find out. I'm sure someone will leave a comment or whatever here. I'm sure Sid or RJ already covered that tonight. But they're neat. Not for me, though. Just I don't need another little yard switcher. And then the diesels. The RS27s, the Penn Central one stands out to me here, or the Conrail. I'm not going to purchase either of these. They're, again, a new product, a new tooling. I'm assuming they might have come from MTH. These come in at $5.99. It's a nice little diesel if you need something for your layout. Moving through, we have more switchers. We just had the SW8s from last Volume 1 catalog, and now we have the SW1s. And if they get the Conrail color right, that'll be a pretty sweet little switcher there. I know a couple guys looking for a West Shore switcher and maybe a Pensy one to be custom run. So if you want a really neat railroad, check out or let Mr. Muffin know that you're interested in a West Shore SW1 switcher. The ES44 ACs are back. I love my ES44 AC. I've got the International, the Interstate from the Norfolk Southern Heritage line, and it's a really great one. It's got the kinematic truck on the front there, which is pretty cool, or truck pilots rather, kinematic pilots. There are powered and non-powered options, which is great. So if we zoom in here on the prices, the powered is going to be right at $699 and the non-powered is at $399. Now, we're not going to talk too much about prices, but we did know that these were going to go up in price about 10 to 15%. I think they're right around 12.5 to 15%. These have gone up. So, that's kind of right where we expected. The U.S. Armed Forces one is sweet. That is just an awesome color. And then the EJ&E Heritage is pretty cool as well. Those would be my picks out of that if I were to purchase one. Here we've got SD40-2s. The UP Desert Victory is neat. I also really like the Burlington Northern with the orange and black zebra striping on the front. That is super cool. That would be my top pick here. And again, kinematic pilots on these, which is really nice. The fact that they're 19 inches long with the kinematic pilot puts it at an 0.54 curve minimum. So medium-sized layouts could run these. And then we have the SD90 Max. I've heard some comments already today about the fact that these things look weird. Not for me. I would really like to get just a red Canadian Pacific diesel at some point in time, and they're not available on this page. And they're not available on this one either. But again, we've got a cool UP, which is the NS patch on it. But I'm trying to move away from more modern diesels because I've got enough. The F40 Phs, we knew these had to be in this catalog because we knew that Lionel acquired this tooling from MTH. So we've got a bunch of different Amtrak options with these, which is really cool. They're tiny, 14 inches. They run on 0.54 curves because they have the kinematic pilots, which is always a very nice touch. And then we've got some Amfleets here, or the passenger cars, which are really nice. So these are very nice cars. I would love to have some of these. I did actually purchase some of the old MTH Amfleets back in the day. I don't think these are the MTH toolings. I'm pretty sure Atlas got it, but they were really, really nice. But they didn't run well on my layout for some reason. But these are sharp. I already have some of the 21-inch passenger cars. I'm not going to order the F40, so those are out for me, but they're pretty sharp. The Csx Transportation Set is neat. This is the OCS set, so you can get the passenger cars for a cool $8.99 for a 4-car pack. They've got some add-ons, of course. They've got the Station Sounds Diner that can go on there, and it goes with the F40 PH, which comes in at $629.99. There's also 2 other options there that aren't shown, so if you want some more road numbers, you can have that as well. So it's a pretty cool OCS set that you can purchase. And then this is one that stands out to me, is the ski train. You know that I have the Rio Grande PAs with all the passenger cars from MTH, and they're really nice. I like them. I was thinking about actually keeping the passenger cars, selling the Alcos, which are for sale, and purchasing the ski train F40 PH from Lionel. That was actually my initial thought when I knew the F40s were coming out. We kind of put together 2 and 2 that with the ski train being in last year's catalog, we knew the F40 had to be in this one. But that yellow's not going to match. I can pretty much tell you that. So the yellow from the ski train here on the F40 is not going to match my passenger cars, so I don't know if it makes sense for me to purchase that or not. So, but this is really nice. If you have the ski train, there's some great additions. I love the power car option, and just to continue to add these on. It's just, that yellow is just so neat. I just find that really cool. And the cabbage units. So with the F40s, we're going to have the cabbage units also. I love the Downeaster one. It's really neat. So these are really cool because they still come with car sounds and lights. So there's still a lot that comes along with these for the price. You're at $499 without a pre-order discount. But these would be pretty cool. And if you're getting the F40 and you have passenger cars from Amtrak, you have to get the cabbage unit. And F7s, they have some yellow bonnets. That was pretty cool to see. And with these, we always get the Super Base B and a Powered B option. So these are coming in at $11.99 for an AB set, or an AA set rather, which is a little expensive. But I mean, again, we know the prices were going to go up. Let's see here. They are both 2 powered units, which is really nice. Having the Sharks with 2 powered A units, it's so much better than having one A and one non-powered A unit. So that's great that they powered them both now. And then you have the additional add-ons. Got a Lehigh Valley set also. That's really nice looking. We went with a Sioux line. They went with the white with the red. Southern Pacific. Again, I don't think Lionel's come out with the bloody nose Southern Pacific F units before. Maybe they have, but I haven't seen them in a long time if they have. And then UP, the UP set's nice as well, but again, I'm not looking for diesels. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, this F9 set, the Aberdeen, Carolina, and Western, is awesome. I don't care what you say, this thing would look sick. I would love to have this on the layout, the AB unit. It is, I think it's a Super Base B. Yep, so it's powered A, Super Base B. And then you can get these passenger cars, 2 4-packs. So again, it's expensive, but man, that is awesome. I mean, that the colors on this are so unique. If Lionel nails these colors, this will be like one of these sets from this catalog, which is pretty cool. And then they slid the Reading and Northern old OCS F units in here as well. This has Jason Stuckert written all over it until someone does an MTH custom run and pulls him away from Legacy once again. There's an ore train, which is massive. I mean, look how big that thing is. It's huge. So this set is massive. If you have any ore cars, this would be cool to add on to it. You can also just get some more add-on packs, which is great. And you know that means we're going to have ore cars later on in this catalog. Oh boy, this one scares me. The MTH rocket booster set, has been one of the hardest things to find. There's one on eBay for $1,900 right now, and it comes with a Dash 8 that has broken ditch lights. And so Lionel re-releasing this is probably the longest single set that Lionel has ever released. So what we have here is an ES44 as motive power. We've got the idler cars with this thing's got the rings around it to make sure that it's going to fit through tunnels and things like that because of these big rocket covers. The idler cars go between each rocket booster section. So that's 12 cars. Right, if I count correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 cars, plus then we've got a passenger car here at the very end. So that thing is just huge. And then the cool part is you can pull these things off and actually build a scale rocket booster. It's 30 inches. It's scale, which is so cool. And if you don't need the motive power and you don't want the idler cars, you can just order your own 5-car pack with rocket for $8.59 or without a rocket for $7.49. So that's neat. If you're like, well, I'm never going to take that off to see the rocket, you can save yourself $110 by just going with the without rocket flat car pack. Or you can just add those on also because, as I mentioned to my friends today when we were chatting, space shuttles had 2 rocket boosters, so I'm pretty sure you're going to need all of these. So you can add on another idler pack of cars as well. Now I did add this up. If you were to get the rocket pack, 5-car pack, the idler 6-car pack, and this passenger car, you're right at about $1,450 or so, $1,450. So when you look at the price of this being $1,699, you're $250 away from just adding an ES44. So cost effective, it's much more cost effective just buy the whole set. So this one's on my list as well, but I don't think I can swing this and the 210-4. Then we go into some other excursion sets, Black River. Now this is only 3 passenger cars, which aren't totally accurate to the prototype, and then an SW1 switcher at about $1,100. It's cool. I love when they start doing these little excursions from, like they did the Ivyland and New Hope and Ivyland set last time, which was really cool. So the Black River and Western's neat that they pulled that off. And then we've got a 40th anniversary Norfolk Southern set. So some different passenger cars there. So if you're an NS fan, then that's one that you could add to your collection. And then we knew the wood coaches were going to come back. They just added these in last year's Volume 2 catalog, and so we've got them back here again with some different road names and some really cool colors. The Maintenance of Way ones are pretty cool. And then they just added some more and more. The Wabash ones are awesome. Those are probably my favorite. Just the blue with that cream roof is really cool. Oh, let me go back one section. Then we have the chapel car here, which is neat, and there's some detailing here, but there's information on the prototype of the chapel car, which is cool. I think it'd be neat if they had sounds in that. Would be neat. We've got Gla Hoppers. You knew they had to add these with the Class A. So if you've got hoppers already, good for you, but you can add a few more. These look weathered. I don't think they are, but they do look as though they're weathered a little bit, which is, I mean, I would weather mine anyway. And then this is neat. The Bureau of Mines. So Department of the Interior would travel around different mines and inspect them, and they would travel behind coal consists and just get pulled around in these heavyweight cars. So how neat is that? So you have to add those too. If you got the Class A, you have to have those. And then we've got Coil Cars. Now, I don't have any Coil Cars, but I'll tell you what, the more I see them on layouts, the more I wish I had some. And it's going to be impossible to start chipping away at those now. And it's cool to have these ones with the graffiti on it. That would probably be one that I would want. We've got Husky Stacks. I don't have any Lionel Husky stacks. I've got the Atlas ones, which I'll stick with, but these are cool. And then you can add the graffiti ones, which I think it just adds totally a different dimension to your layout, which is really, really cool. We've got some illuminated box cars. We've got some Endor box cars. So the Endor box cars are here, which are pretty neat. Some pretty cool options there. If you're into Southern box cars, then there's one for you. Bobber Cabooses. So this was, I believe, an MTH tooling. I have one of these that was a custom run Strasbourg from Nicholas Smith Trains. They have a Strasbourg one here in an interesting paint scheme. That must be an older one. But they've got some other really cool little bobber cabooses. These things are neat. Highly recommended if you don't have one in your collection. And then the bay window cabooses, which are wild. I mean, these things are just littered with decals and things like that. Moving over, we have more Rotary Gondolas. So Jason Stuckert has entered the chat as these are great. I've got a few of these in my collection. I would love to add some more. I'm hoping to find a couple, maybe one or two more 4-packs, and then I think I'll be good. And here are the ore cars. We knew these were coming in. So great additions if you've got an ore train or the DM on IR. There we go. I know someone with a big Yellowstone, I believe, that needs some ore cars. And then we get into some standard O stuff. So I'm going to fly through this quickly here. We've got the center beam flat cars. We've got flat cars with stakes. We got some more box cars and covered gondolas there. And then we get into the traditional O stuff. And we know that this is more of the Lionchief 2.0. Lionchief 2.0, I've got my little switcher, my little tank that I got last year, and it's a great system, especially if you're running on small curves. So here's some Pacifics. So if you couldn't buy a Legacy Pacific last year, you can buy a Lionchief Pacific here. We've got Hudsons and GP20s, a lot of nice road numbers there. And then here we go. This is what I wanted to get to. The Doodle Bug. How wild are these things? So really cool they came out with these. I love that Pennsylvania one. Honestly, all of these I would take. I'm thinking about the Santa Fe one for my son to go along with his Santa Fe Super Chief set that he got for Christmas. It would be cool to just kind of build up his Santa Fe collection. And then they've got the Genesis, which is, Atlas just released a Premier Line Genesis, and now you can get a Lionel Lionchief 2.0 one. The price comes in at $559, so it's not overly competitive against the Atlas version, which is interesting. So there's also a third rail release of these also that came down to about $799. So you could get a brass third rail option, you could go Atlas, or you could go with Lionel in a Lionchief 2.0. And then there's some more with a passenger set there. So the Genesis Lionchief 2.0 set, that is at $1,000, and it comes with 3 of the passenger cars. And some more passenger cars here. So these are cool. You've got the cab cars, which is pretty neat. So that would be pretty cool, especially living on the Northeast Corridor. You see a lot of those. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining me in this walkthrough as we flew through the 2022 Volume 1 catalog. You'll see a lot of these out there over the next couple days, and probably some that beat me to the punch to get out onto social media, but that's okay. I just wanted to kind of walk through this and tell you my thoughts. So some great engines, some great new cars and technology that they've rolled out, but the top of the line for me is 5022 right here. I think we'll see that hopefully in my collection this time next year. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Like the video, leave me your comments. What do you think? What do you think is going to be the best piece from this catalog? And next Wednesday, I'll be on a live stream. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I will not be on my channel. It will be on RJ's channel, but I will be part of that with him. So be ready for that. We'll advertise it so you can all join and interact with us live next week. Have a great day, everyone.